As always, don't forget to hit that like button and please subscribe. I want to hit 1,000,000 subscribers. Thank y'all for doing that. Today we got an 8th generation 2008 through 2012 Honda Accord. This one's got a 2.4. Customer said, "What's that sound, Jordan? I hear an awful sound coming out of my car. Let's check it out." So we're gonna walk over here. We're gonna start the car. We got the hood popped, and then we're gonna hear the sound. We're gonna try to locate it. That's important whenever looking for a sound. If you can find it. I mean, it sounds really simple. It is really simple. You just locate the noise while you're hearing it. So I was kind of thinking, hey, power steering pump. That was just kind of, because that's what they sound like. I've heard them before. But we're gonna walk over here. You're gonna hear it's gonna get louder. So how do I check on that and know, hey, that's what's it? So what I do is I'm gonna come over here. And man, it is loud. It sounds like it's coming from there. And I'm gonna touch it, okay? I'm gonna touch the outside right here. Now I feel vibration that is consistent with that awful loud noise. If I touch the alternator, there's no vibration. Because you could have a bearing and an alternator going bad, okay? I feel consistent vibration. On the hose, it's even worse, okay? The vibration is really bad. So does that mean the power steering pump is bad? I'm gonna shut this off so we can hear better. Does that mean the power steering pump is bad? I don't know. Let's look and check the fluid, because it could just be that fluid level's low. And what do we have in here? All right, we can see down in there. Hey, that fluid is low. So if I showed you the outside, you can see the lines there is below the lines. So what does that mean? Well, she's probably got a power steering pump leak. And do we see anything here? Let's just briefly look over. Nope, no leak there. Got anything here? Because we got seals and stuff on these lines. Nope, that is not good news for our poor customer, because many times what happens, let's see if we can see it down here. Yep, we can see some fluid. You get a high pressure power line. It looks like it's leaking. And I think that's it. I haven't followed the line down. I'm following it. I'm looking at it. And what else we got? Oh, sorry. Y'all are just like right up on this engine. It's really common for the high pressure line to leak. And they're not fun because they're usually buried under the car, and it's some crazy line connection you have to disconnect, and it could be rusty. It can be near impossible to take the bottom part off. Sometimes it's not too bad. And this one, I can see it. It's right. The connection for this high pressure line is right over there. Okay, so you have to take that line off, and this one doesn't actually look too bad. But see if you follow that line, and you come through over here. You can see it works up here. You can see there's a, I think this is like some kind of power steering pressure thingamabobber. And you gotta take that off when you replace the line, because it's gonna come, all together, and there's gonna be a hole right here on your new one, and then you're gonna put this on the new one. The other thing that's really common on a leak like this is the rack and pinion. So the seals inside the rack and pinion is, ow, that piece you can see behind my finger. I'm kind of shading it with my finger. That's probably like your inner tie rod with a boot on it. That's gonna go out to the outer tie rod. And on the inside, there's seals. And those seals can go bad, and they'll leak, and you'll see it coming out of the inner tie rod boot sometimes. And that can be a very expensive repair, because as you can see, it's a pretty big piece. So down there you see that like closed accordion. That's the other side of it. I don't see any fluid. I feel like it's coming from the high pressure line, but typically you don't replace the seal. You have to take this whole big piece from accordion line to accordion line back over there, and then your steering hooks up to it. So you see your steering, it's gonna be, let's see, that big ball looking thing is gonna connect to your rack and pinion, and you got all those lines going into it. Not a fun job. You have to pull that thing through the whole part of the car. So those are what could be for the leak. But again, I think it's probably a high pressure line. But that is the noise. So what I was describing, how you find the noise, you touch the part Again, don't put yourself in danger. If there's like, you know, if the belt is spinning and you stick your finger in between the belt, it can suck your finger up in there. Just first and foremost, be safe. You can even take a flathead screwdriver and you could set, let's just pretend this is a flathead screwdriver. You can touch it a lot of times and feel the vibration. What else can do that kind of vibration? Sometimes idler pulleys, it's kind of hard to touch those. You could take a screwdriver and try not to get caught up in there, but see the bolt on the end of that tensioner right there? That's not moving, so while it's running you could touch that and you'll feel a lot of vibration. If the bearing in that idler tensioner is bad, a lot of times they'll be flopping around. If it's a belt tensioner, those will flop around, and you can see those a lot of times while it's running. Anything else? Most of the time, if you have a weird noise, it's like kind of like what I just showed you. It's gonna be like your alternator or your power steering pump. Now if it changes when you turn the AC on or off, it could be the AC condenser, which is going to look something like this guy down here. And again, you'll notice that change. Now it could just be running freely. That thing's still got a spin, still got some kind of bearing. Can also make noise, but just by touching it and feeling the vibration, that's how it's able to figure it out. So this one, we're going to add some fluid. And if it's a slow leak, you could say, hey, you know, you could probably just add every few months, be all right. If it's a fast leak, you don't know if she really wants to be adding fluid that constantly, spending money on fluid, and then also having a bunch of fluid on the ground all the time. So hopefully it's a slow leak. Maybe she wants to fix it. We'll see. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.